collaboration, right? Like putting other people into the spotlight is going to allow you to, again, not only promote their content, but also show people how good you can potentially distill other ideas and then turn them into your own, while at the same time potentially leveraging these people sharing your content. So
these questions naturally led to the next stages, and some of them, you know, turn out into referrals. Some of them turn into opportunities. We went on and spoke on stages, right? And it's like, well, this is really amazing because it's happening naturally with the people that we actually resonate with, and they are actually asking us, what do we do? Straight to the topic, Fonzie, what do you bring us today?
Today we're going to be talking about growing your audience and influence with these 3 collaboration strategies. This sounds absolutely amazing. Hashtag juicy, not just because I put it together.
we just lost everybody that doesn't collaborate.
Yeah, before we collaborate, I want to add this as a caveat, right? Like, it's not everything you need to do, but if you are under a certain level of audience, even if you have a big audience, I would encourage you to collaborate. But specifically for people that might be looking for that growth, might be creating for a while now, they haven't experienced some sort of growth, this is extremely helpful, especially too if you're looking to monetize your business, your services, right, your offers. This can be extremely beneficial. So is it everything you need to do? No. Again, balance, test, right? Do some solo content. You got to be the expert, but at the same time, leverage these collaboration strategies we're going to be sharing today.
And I want to encourage everybody that, you know, maybe is rolling out collaboration, maybe take a listen. And it might be like 1 or 2 things that you can bring onto your current publishing strategy. I think it's going to be useful. It has changed our life and the way that we do things. So hopefully it will move you a little bit closer to your objectives with content. All right. Hey, I'm Luis.
And I'm Luis.
And you're listening to the Content is Profit podcast.
Yeah. So first, why collaboration? Why is it important, right? And I'm gonna put it down to 2 simple things that have really changed our business. One is relationships. It's gonna allow you to build personal and business relationships that are gonna go beyond that one-time collaboration. Now, every time we go to events, we had a network of people that we can tap into. If we have some challenges, we have a network of people we can tap into. If we need referrals, we have a network of people that we can tap into, which leads to the second aspect, which is opportunities. Just knowing more people and talking about what you do, how you help others, right? Your service, your offer is going to lead to those people potentially, right, referring you to others. Or if they know somebody that might have a challenge that you are solving, they can introduce you to them and etc. Yeah. So it boils down to 2 relationships.
I want to add a little bit of a layer to those things that you said, right? Like before we actually started collaborating for us specifically on the podcast, but this can be, like I said, in any platform. It was really challenging to tell, like, is this a person that I can actually trust, right? Is this a person that the personality or maybe the way that they operate resonates with how we operate and how we do things, right? And is this a person that can inspire me, right? It can be challenging, right? Because sometimes what we see online is not 100% of the time. So the fact that we were able to build a very genuine relationship with so many of the guests inside of our platform, and then after it, right? There's some stuff that happens after the show. Not only on like that immediate call, but like throughout the next few months, it's pretty awesome, right? You meet them in person, and there's going to be some people that you resonate with, and there's going to be some other people that don't resonate with. And I didn't really understand like how important that is when it comes to business. When we first started, we're like, we want to be doing business with every single person, right? And I remember like one case specifically is a person, they were never on the show, but we collaborated with them in an event. They came and they started bringing some clients to us. And I remember we started with 2 very amazing entrepreneurs, right? And then the way that they operated on the back end, the way that they communicated, it didn't resonate with how we did it. And then, you know, that was a working relationship. We're still on a personal relationship. I think we're in good terms, right? But at the end of the day, it was not beneficial for the business, right? And we would not discover this if it wasn't for the previous collaboration that we did, right? So I think that's a little bit of an extra layer, and that I want to put in there.
Yeah, I think personally, the moment that I realized the power of relationships and increasing the value of your network was actually when we were starting Content is Profit. Before that, we weren't doing anything similar to, collaboration strategies. And then when we started Content is Profit, that we started bringing guests, one of the first people that we brought was our coach at the moment, right? We were paying him a pretty fairly amount of money. And we were like, why not? I'm sure he's going to say yes to come to a podcast that has no audience whatsoever. And he came, we deepened the relationship, but also then we got to leverage his name with other people, and we managed to get bigger guests because they knew who he was. So that kind of like turned on a light bulb. It's like, wow, the power of collaboration goes beyond, hey, you're going to be my friend, but also that of building authority, right? Which we're going to be talking a little bit more in depth here in a little bit. So let's go with the 3 strategies. Number 1 is sharing the spotlight, right? Usually most businesses, most people that are creating online, they're just focused on their own work. Me, this is what I can do for you, right? And yes, there is a percentage of your content that should be like that, especially if you're trying to position yourself as the expert. You need to have your own frameworks, your own, right, proprietary, intellectual things that you put out into the world, right? And that is going to frame you as the expert. But at the same time, collaboration, right? Like putting other people into the spotlight is going to allow you to, again, not only promote their content, but also show people how good you can potentially distill other ideas and then turn them into your own, while at the same time potentially leveraging these people sharing your content. So why don't you share maybe how we used to do that with Content is Profit at the very beginning?
Well, for once, I remember having a conversation on Friday. They're a pretty big company, and they do 2 podcasts a week. And to them, they published more than 150 episodes, and to them, this was a very foreign idea, right? They came to us because they wanted to learn a little bit more about the networks that we were involved, the people that we brought onto the show. They want to develop a little bit more relationships, and I'm like, well, you already have an amazing show that you can use as this. And to them, that was brand new, and they got so excited to go back and go. And this is not a short anymore. It's like we're actually moving a step closer to the relationships that we want to build with certain people, right? So we ended up, the call was supposed to be 20 minutes. We ended up talking about 90 minutes around this topic, and then they're going to be coming to our show. We're going to be coming to their show, and value is created, right? But for us, I remember the first 20 episodes, it was just, me and you, and we were trying to document the things that we were doing. And after Steve came onto the show, right after, we started having questions of people like, well, what do you guys do? Like, I really enjoyed this interview, and these questions naturally led to the next stages. And some of them, turn out into referrals. Some of them turn into opportunities. We went on and spoke on stages, right? And it's like, well, this is really amazing because it's happening naturally with the people that we actually resonate with, and they are actually asking us, what do we do? This is an opportunity we cannot let go. And how can we systemize this? How we can build a system around that we can actually build relationships at scale consistently over the last 3 years? And that's kind of like where we saw the secret sauce when it comes to publishing like this.
Yeah. So, that aligns with the next point that we're going to be talking about. I'm going to back up 1 second and give you maybe 2 ways that you can share other people's spotlight in your own platform, right? Besides obviously hosting them, again, like my brother was sharing, you can break down somebody else's work. So something that I personally like to do is when I'm listening to a podcast and I take a snippet out of their podcast, something that I learned, one valuable lesson, maybe I write something about that and I tag them, right? I do a H/T with which means hat tip, kind of like, hey, thank you so much for this information, right? And I go like, hey, here are 3 things I learned from this person's podcast. 1, 2, 3, right? You're debriefing, you're condensing their information, their knowledge, and you're sharing it with more people, right? And then there's a potential chance that they might actually, if it's a quality piece of content, if it's something good that they enjoyed, they might share with their audience as well, giving you some reach.
Yeah.
And if they don't share it, that could be just a touch point, right? Again, let's say you're trying to get this person on your podcast. You start doing these snippets. Those are touch points. Like, trust me, they're going to get notifications that you're tagging them, that you're creating content around them.
Yeah.
And then eventually when you reach out to them, they're like, you know what? I've actually seen your content. You've been publishing about me and my stuff now for quite some time. Absolutely. Let's talk, right? You're building some rapport in there.
Yeah. I mean, and I want to add maybe a couple of tactical moves here, right? Like one is utilize or publish your debrief and your own thoughts about that thing of the person that you want to connect with in the platform that they actually use, right? If somebody's active on Instagram, don't go ahead and publish it on TikTok. It might be less of a chance for them to see it. So like, where are they, right? In using their time. Here's a quick tactic. Turn on notifications when they're actually posting, and as soon as something comes out where like on your phone it shows, hey, this person is actually posting, go ahead and publish and tag them in that moment. They're in that phone, right? Of course, like if you don't have anything ready, that's not going to happen, but I would recommend this. So like, what are your top 3 dream relationships that you want, and continue to do it. We've done it with the people, for example, with Todd Brown. I remember, amazing marketer, right? Like you were finishing reading his book, and as soon as he posted, I think you did a story about the book. I think it was a PDF that you ended up downloading. He ended up seeing that, communicating with us, sending us a copy, and then coming into our show. And that was like the very first like massive, incredible guest that we had in the industry at the time. So we're like, wow, this is really, really exciting.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next one. Host collaborations or interviews. Surprise, surprise. Of course, like my brother was saying, that's what we do in Content is Profit, or what we used to do pretty much for like 300 episodes. It was mostly just interviews. Then we started adding more solo episodes. Again, we want to obviously establish yourself as the experts, but we still do collaborations. We still do interviews. We do maybe live on Facebook, in our Facebook group. And the whole idea is to be able to tap into their audiences, what is called OPA, right? OPA, other people's audiences. Also, this allows you to borrow authority. If you're interviewing somebody like our coach, the first story that we share with you, right? Somebody that he is very influential in a community of marketers. Guess what? When people see us alongside, they're going to be like, who are these guys, right? Like immediately their perception of our authority and trust goes higher. Now, you do need to prove your authority once people start going into your profile and see that you've been consistent and creating a topic and showing your expertise. But it is a great way to, again, get in front of a new audience, borrow that authority and trust. And our very favorite is the fact that it creates opportunities.
I mean, just recently we had amazing Chris, right, from London, and with that incredible accent, right? And I think next Monday we're going to be at a live event with AppSumo, right? And it's going to be incredible. We've been promoting with him. We paired up with amazing entrepreneurs and people that in the industry. And that's a great opportunity, for us to show that we got it. Also, he came into our platform. He did some trainings inside of our group that was very, very valuable for our community. And I think, that's where it gets like pretty fun, right? Where it's like, hey, how can we collaborate? How can we help each other out, right? We live in a world of abundance. And the more people that we're connecting, that means that there might be like 2, 3, 4 opportunities down the road. This very big thing that we're working on this week that came out of nowhere, literally. Right? We're going to share the story, but this was a relationship that started first in the place that we used to work, the office that we rented. And then he was a guest in our show for a while. And we developed this relationship for the last 3 years. And when we actually announced the thing, it's going to blow people's minds, because it's probably a very interesting deal that came out of in the back of building the relationships through the platform, right? So again, invest the time, make sure that you stay in contact with these people. Like I said, through the filters, like, is this valuable for us, for the audience, for me as a person? Do we resonate as people, right? There have been some guests that the content has been great, but maybe we don't resonate, and that's okay. They're still friends, right? There's still people that we know and we can reach out to any single time.
Not everybody has to be a home run, right?
Exactly.
And the last one, number 3, is be a connector. And shout out here to our good friend, the Pablo Gonzalez.
Yes.
And, he often says that being the kingmaker is better than being the king, right? And this is just an invitation for you to consider just making introductions when things look right? You are growing your network through collaborations. Guess what? You can help other people do the same thing. And by you introducing them to maybe a potential solution, a new client, etc., right? And increase their network, you're getting immediately like credit for that, right? People are going to see you as this person that is like, wow, thanks to you, I'm getting X, Y, and Z. You are, I forgot the word. It's like an enabler, right? You're an enabler of good things for others. So make sure now that you're growing your network through collaborations, make sure that you can make some meaningful connections, and don't just like spam introductions, because that is kind of annoying. And I would also, my recommendation would be to check with both people. Hey, I have this person that might be a good introduction for you. They do X, Y, and Z. Would you be interested in getting to know them? Do that with both people. If they say yes, go ahead and introduce them. But don't be just like throwing random introductions out of the air that.
Just Sunday, right? We had a amazing also guest of the show, Alex Sanfilippo, right, with Podmatch, and we had dinner with him and his wife, and they're crushing it in the industry, and they're building a new technology. A new technology or a new tool, right, for the industry that's gonna change everything, and it's pretty incredible. And we happened to meet this amazing person in a location that we used to record content and work out of, and he's also a tech founder, and he financed this amazing building and community center in our town. So we emailed both of them. We're like, hey, I think this is a great fit for you guys. Hey, happy connecting. Go ahead, you do your thing. And they're already having a meeting on the technology tool, right? So again, these are great opportunities to put good karma out into the world, and it's gonna come back tenfold to you, right? So I remember when Pablo told us about this phrase, like, be a kingmaker is better than being a king, right?
And we're probably butchering the phrase a little bit, so sorry about that, Pablo. But it goes along those lines.
But I remember we were with a group of people, and I literally physically saw all the egos rise, right? Because there were people that were authorities in their fields, and people that are publishing for quite a while, and they're like, absolutely not, like, I have to be the authority, like, this is my platform, this is my thing. And that really got me thinking, right? Like, for a lot of people, right, are we ready to actually share our platform? Which is okay if you're going to be doing your solo episodes, totally okay. But can we allow some space for this collaboration, right? What about you're a king that also is an amazing kingmaker, right? And I think you both can live in the same space, right?
The king of kingmakers.
The kings of kingmakers. No, but I speak from the truth, right? Because when we heard this phrase, we were very early in our podcasting journey, right? So how we were tackling these conversations was from a lower point than where the person that was coming to a show was, authority-wise. And after starting to think about it, we're like, okay, can we show up at the same level as that person that's coming to our show, and not just have some questions, but also put our thoughts out there and question maybe some of the things that they're doing based on our experience, based on our life, based on the things that we've experienced, and then have a conversation as equals. And I think that's a huge difference, right? Because you still can be the king, right, with your own opinion and your own thought process and your own intellectual property, but at the same time, you are making a king on the other side because you're presenting your platform and you guys are having these amazing conversations. So I think that's where the difference is. A lot of people tackle the interview, right? It might be an internal thing, right? For us, it was definitely an internal thing. I remember FONZI calling Todd Brown Mr. Todd, and I think that was the day that we realized.
I think I was still calling Mr. Todd. It's a sign of respect.
Hey, Mr. Todd. I know it's like our Hispanic parents are like Mr. and Mrs. But anyways, I think today was super awesome. What do you think, Fonzie?
Super duper awesome.
Super duper awesome.
Absolutely valuable. Again, if you have a small audience, this is a great way to leverage other people's audiences. Lean into this. Even I'll say this because we've been doing it for a while, and actually, let's say our social media following hasn't grown significantly, but our network has grown massively, and the results in our business are all due to that, to the fact that we have collaborated and done these interviews and build relationships. Every single dollar pretty much that we've done in our business can be tracked back to the platform, to podcasts. So again, use collaborations. It is an incredible tool. I think it is definitely undervalued by most people, especially once you start scrolling on Reels and you see that there's just a lot of people kind of like just trying to push their own me, I'm the expert, which again, there's nothing wrong about that, but I think a good balance is necessary.
Awesome. All right. I think that's the episode, guys. Thank you so much for tuning to the Content is Profit podcast. Go ahead and follow the show in your favorite podcasting platform and on social media at BIZBROS Co.
That is right. If today's episode helped you move one step closer towards your goal, please don't forget to share this with somebody else and and leave a 5-star review. And if you want to know more about this and how to launch your own, make sure you tell us about the Pipeline platform. Just be like, yo, send me a DM. Here you go. Pipeline platforms. Tell me more. I want it. Yeah. All right, cool. See ya.
Bye, guys.